Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3, Women in Addiction. All right. I want to start off with, want to play a track from ATM Leak, and it's called Get Low. ATM Leak, Get Low.
I gotta get back on my pivot. Fuck that, everybody saying I'm slipping. It's a get back. Forever I'm stepping and getting my lip back. They told me be patient, I chillin', I sit back. They tell me get active, that's when everybody get wet. Everybody asking who did it, I did that. Everybody asking who with it, I'm with that. I got a mission, I got time, I'ma sit back. I'm boxing him out, I wanna see where he live at. When he come out the house, I am out there and get back. Whole lot of shirts with his face, niggas big. Bro, the ops in the party, we gotta get in there. Fuck that, we just gon' wait till they let out. I want you empty the clips and as you see niggas step out. They just let my bro out the cage, he just came out. I got that fire, I'm bringing that flame. Seen the ops on the block, so we just had a bang. Got my brother walk with me, grew up in the same house. That boy swing that Drake is what they you reach. Real man like a Ray, fell in love with the key. Bitches stepping on that and we laughing while he lost. And the bitches on dick and they always say he up. Fucked up a bag, but found a way to reach up. And fuck all the odds, we gon' knock your whole team up. So bust all them things, cause every day is payday. That bitch hold over 30, come see how they ain't YBC in the building, I bet that they make find a way to get paid, get a lot of money lately. Boom, tell that boy, Lee blow his mind. He gon' jump out the coupe, we gon' ban him for 5. And revealing that life is you ready to die. Draco grab a 40, then I'm grabbing a 9.
All right. There we have ATM Leak, and that song is called Get Low. Get Low. All right, great job, Leak. So hey, what's up, listeners? Welcome back to Exclusive Discussions. Today's episode is about women and addiction. We're going to look at the differences that women face in addiction and recovery. And in ways, it's easier for, in many ways, it's easier for women in active addiction, and it makes it harder for women in recovery or to make it to recovery. Women are faced with different challenges and carry different types of trauma and pain than their male counterparts. So we're going to get into a lot of the differences between men and women in addiction and in recovery. Our show has a call-in number for you guys to call, text in. I'd like you to call and express your thoughts, your opinions, leave pictures, videos, share about your own experiences. You can call in to be a guest by way of phone, or to be on our show, or you can just call and show your support. That number is 267-774-8832. That's 267-774-8832. All right, so please call in and show your support and let me know what you're thinking and how you like the show, what you would like to see in the show added on. This podcast is just beginning, and so it's going to keep getting better each episode. But I just would like a lot of feedback from you guys so I can see where I'm at and what do I need to do better. Okay, so we're going to start off every week. We're going to do like a little prank call. I haven't put a name for it yet, but exclusive pranks. I guess that's what we're going to call it, exclusive pranks. So we're going to get into this first prank, and I'm going to start it off right now. All right, making another call. Let's see if we can get someone on the phone. I don't got a dial. I don't have a ring yet. Here we go.
Hello, yes, this is Clayton. I'm unavailable to get to you at this moment, but if you would leave your name and telephone number, I will get with you as soon as I can. Thank you.
All right, making another call. Let's see if we can get someone on the phone. I don't got a dial. I don't have a ring yet.
Hello, yes, this is Clayton. I'm unavailable to get to you at this moment, but if you would leave your name and telephone number, I will get with you as soon as I can. Thank you.
Yes, how are you doing, Mr. Clayton? My name is Dr. Frankenberry, and I'm calling you from the Crunch Medical Society. And a patient of mine gave me your name and number and stated she has recently been in contact with you. Uh, she actually has a disease that she may have transmitted to you. Uh, she tested positive. It's a new disease, and we don't even have a name for it, but we're actually calling it by you being the first person with this disease. We're going to name it after you and call it Claytonitis. Uh, so if you give me a call back, I'd love to talk to you about this new disease and let you know some of the warnings and kind of schedule an appointment to get you into the office so that we can do a little testing on you. My phone number is 267 774 8832. That is 267 774 8832. And again, my name is Dr. Frankenberry at 267 774 8832, and I'm calling you from the Crunch Society Medical Center. Give me a call back, please, Mr. Clayton, and I will run down the ramifications of this new disease to you. Thank you very much. All right, let's get in another call. All right, here we go. All right, let's get another call. Yes, could I speak with Eric Thompson? Yes, how you doing, Eric? My name is Dr. Frankenberry, and I'm calling you from the Crunch Medical Society. A patient of mine gave us your number and stated that she has recently been in close proximity with you where she may have possibly transmitted a disease to you. Now, she has tested positive for a new disease that unfortunately we don't even have a name for it yet. And because of HIPAA and the Confidentiality Act, I cannot divulge her name to you. However, if you were to guess her name, I might could give you a hint as to who she is. And since you'll be the first person with this disease, we're going to just name the disease after you and call it Ericitis. What do you think about this? Sir? Hello? He hung up. Let me call back. See if I can get him back on the phone. Why is everybody hanging up? Walaikum assalam. I kind of lost my connection with you, sir. Are you there, Mr. Eric? Sir?
Replay your message. Press 1. Continue recording. Press 2. Delete.
He done put it straight to voicemail on me. Let me see, can I get him back on the phone? All right, one last try, y'all. One last try. I think he's going to keep sending me straight to voicemail. All right, let's try this again. Oh, yes, excuse me, Mr. Thompson.
Man, don't call me no more, man. I've been able trying to get my life together with the bullshit.
Well, Mr. Thompson, do you know who this is? Oh, shit, I got to call him back. Okay, I'm going to try another call, y'all. Let's see if I can get. I'm gonna call Greg. See if I can get Greg on the phone.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I'm calling to speak to Mr. Greg Williams.
Yes, man. What's going on?
How you doing, Mr. Williams? I'm Dr. Frankenberry, and I'm calling you from the Crunch Medical Society. And a patient of mine has just given us your name and number and stated that she has recently been in close enough proximity with you where she may have transmitted her disease to you. And the unfortunate thing is this is a new disease and we really don't even have a name for it. So right now, by you being the only one that is possibly affected, we were calling it Gregitis.
What's some of the symptoms, though? You can't just, come on, man. How you gonna just call somebody and say that? What kind of symptoms should I have to get a disease named after me?
Well, Mr. Williams, that's the very sad part about it is we have no idea of what the ramifications could be in this disease. I mean, literally, things could just start falling off of you. I'm not sure what to expect. That's why I really would like to get you into the office and do some testing. And so that we could you would be the first experimental test dummy. I mean, not dummy.
Yeah, right there. Hold on. Experimental, meaning you want to use me as a lab rat.
Well, not actually a lab rat, but we would like to find out what this disease entails and who could help. You could be helping millions of people that would possibly catch this disease because the young lady who I can't disclose her name, I kind of heard she was a hoe. So she, might have got around a lot in this area.
But that would imply it's a sexual transmitted disease or air-breathing disease.
It could be either or. That's the crazy thing about it. It doesn't have to be sexual. It can be transmitted through the air, and definitely if you had sex with her.
I doubt if I had sex with her. I had no sex with nobody in about 3 years.
You haven't had sex in 3 years?
Yeah. Now let's include myself. I didn't have sex with myself for 3 years. But as another whole person, no.
Well, how do you have sex with yourself?
It's called masturbation.
Okay, jerking off.
Yeah.
Well, is it possible that you've given yourself a disease?
No, because they say to sing happy birthday and wash your hands and you'll be all right. So I've been washing my hands singing happy birthday.
Now, what if your hand caught this Gregitis disease and then when you went to have sex with yourself, you passed it on to yourself?
Well, I never thought of it like that, Doc.
Absolutely. That's why I'm really scared for you, Mr. Williams, because I mean, literally, you could have things start to fall off of you. And we really don't want that. I mean, I would hope that if you could if you had a trash bag and if you could maybe wrap yourself up in this trash bag and make your way down to the office. I mean, I would love to do some testing on you.
Where's the office?
Like I told you, the office is on Jefferson Street by Broad and Jefferson. If you come around the back of the YMCA. Yes, sir. That is just to protect everyone else's safety. We wouldn't want to pass this on to other people. Hold on, sir. I'm getting an emergency call. Yes. She died. Mr. Williams, our test patient has just died. I think you really need to get in here to the office and let us check you.
Man, come on with this, man. This can't be serious.
How about if I send you an Uber?
And I gotta put my trash bag.
Yes, please. Just put on a hefty trash bag. One of the construction ones, the thick ones. Put that on. Put a mask on underneath. Tape it around the bottom of your legs. I'll call the Uber. The Uber will come to you. You get in the back of the Uber, and we'll get you down here to the office, do some tests on you, and we'll, try to make sure that you don't die tonight like she did.
Wow. That got me nervous. I'm sweating. Now I feel like something falling off me for real.
Well, I have one thing of good news I can tell you.
What's that?
You've just been pranked. This is Malik Williams and Exclusive Discussions, and you are the first.
All this stuff going on right here. Like, man, and I'm so bored and stupid. I just stayed on the phone all the time. I was like, man, I had nothing else to do, but it was sounding interesting. And I was like, what the world? But, oh my God.
Well, I'm glad you stayed on the phone, because I sent everyone I'm calling tonight, I'm getting answering services. One guy was in a meeting, hung up on me and told me he's trying to get his life together. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I don't have nothing to do. I'm like, yeah, I talk to anybody to call me.
Yeah, I got my new podcast called Exclusive Discussions, and I'm going to do a prank call in the beginning of each show. So you are the first that I've been able to get on my prank show.
I appreciate being a part of something in life. Yeah. No, I just celebrated my 50th yesterday.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. That's a special one. Well, happy birthday. Did you do anything special?
Yeah, I just got back from Virginia. I had to take my old lady her Christmas present. But yeah.
Okay. All right, great. That's what's up. You got any comedy shows or anything coming up in the near future?
Actually, I got my 50th birthday party next Friday, New Year's Eve birthday party. Special invited guests coming out, music and comedy, and I'm down here in Rittenhouse Square Friday night.
Friday night, Rittenhouse Square. How much are tickets? And at the door?
75 to 400.
Okay, tickets 75 to 400. How much at the door? Same?
It probably won't be nothing at the door because it looks like it's about sold out. But I'm going to try to bring in that many people, probably about 80, 90 people coming in. So that's about it. I just got, something small and secluded.
All right, well, you want to leave your number on the air for anyone who wants to buy a ticket?
Yeah, 267-242-4343. That's for Cigar Wood.
Okay, y'all heard it. It's a limited amount of seats, and they're almost sold out. So if you're going to want to try to get one of these tickets, you better hurry up and call him immediately. And that's for next week, New Year's Eve. And it is Cigar Williams' 50th birthday bash. Special guest coming out. And what's your number again, Greg?
267-242-4343.
All right, that's great, man. Happy belated birthday again. And I'm going to call you back because I need to get one of those tickets.
My man, y'all be blessed.
All right. All right. That was our prank call. We hope you enjoyed it. Now, I'd like to go straight into our ear to the street. And this is just a segment, part of the show that we're going to tell you some current events and things that's going on, not only in the hip-hop community and the music industry, but just in the world, and especially that applies to us in the urban society. First up, Jussie Smollett is still in court. It's basically his word against his two accusers. And I thought that this had been thrown out of court because of it being staged. Remember when they were talking about this was that he staged it and paid the guys? But it seems to still be active. I'm interested in seeing how this is going to turn out. Because as of now, he's been found guilty on 5 of 6 counts of disorderly conduct for making false reports to the police. In March of 2019, all the criminal charges against him have been dropped. So I guess now it's just civil suits, which means No jail time, but they'll just be giving him fines. So we'll keep our ears to the ground and see what happens with this case with Jussie Smollett, and how this is going to go down. Next up, we have there was another Versus, and it was with 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony. Man, this was one of the best verses so far. I mean, it was amazing. I loved it. I'm a big fan of both groups, of 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I really thought it was going to be hard for 3-6 to beat this one, because Bone Thugs and Harmony got so many hits, man. They got big hits, but it was a lot of tension before it. Busy Bone, he added a lot of drama straight from the jump. When he went on Instagram and he called 3-6 Mafia devil worshippers and vowed to fuck them niggas up. And then while he's on stage, Busy want 3-6 Mafia to stop mocking him. Apparently DJ Paul and Gangsta Boo slow danced when Bone was performing their Buddha song, which is one of their more slow kind of beat songs. And so DJ Paul and Gangsta Boo was on stage just kind of like slow dancing, and Busy Bone took that as if they were, mocking and making fun of Bone's song right while they were performing it. So he called them ugly motherfuckers. And Juicy J, he yelled to Busy Bone, suck my dick. Now that's fighting words in any hood. I mean, it's all over. Once someone says suck my dick, a man says that to another man, it's fighting time. So once that was yelled out by Juicy J, Busy Bone threw a bottle of water at 3-6. And man, DJ Paul was the first one to rush towards Bone Thugs and Harmony, throwing blows. Now, DJ Paul only got one arm, so he's throwing his blows with his one arm. And Busy Bone, somehow, he ends up at the whole back, way in the back, behind everyone on his side, including security. He's behind security. I don't know how he got back there so quick. But DJ Paul's rushing, and then all the rest of 3-6 started to rush him too. In an interview after the event, DJ Paul was asked, why was he the first one, to rush? And saying that he has a handicap. He has one of his arms is smaller than the other. We call it like a chicken wing on the streets. So DJ Paul stated that he was, in fact, a one-arm problem on the streets. He was what was known as a one-hitter quitter, a one-arm knockout artist. So this Bone Thugs and 3-6 versus it was amazing, man. But 3-6 got out there and handled their business, man. Their performance was just they had the energy. They bumped the crowd up, and I had really forgotten a lot of 3-6 Mafia songs. They got some hits, and they even got a fucking Oscar for the song that they made. They wrote the song in the what's that movie? Whoop That Trick. Whoop That Trick. The movie with what's the guy name to play Lucius Lyon? He played in it. Anyway, they even had him come out on stage. Now, he's not even a rapper, and they had him come out on stage and rap the song. So they got an Oscar for that, and they still getting money. DJ Paul has been writing a lot of songs for some EMI, EDI groups, some of that like punk rock, new wave shit. He's been doing a lot of writing for a lot of that and still getting that bread. He made a couple of references to, Bone Thugs being broke now, broke Thugs in Harmony, and 3-6 is still getting that cheddar. But yeah, it was, in my opinion, man, 3-6 took the show. They smashed Bone Thugs and Harmony. Bone, their performances weren't, as great as possibly they could have been. They skipped a lot of the tracks that people thought they should have played. Like they didn't do First of the Month. And they said afterwards that they were being strategic, but man, 3-6 came out there and they killed it. They had Lil Wayne come out there with them. They had Gangsta Boo come out. They had Project Pat come out. They killed the show. So that was one of the best verses that I've seen thus far. So I'm looking forward to see who's going to be next. I'd love to see like a Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. And they were trying to put that together, but I heard that Jay-Z, of course, was saying can't nobody stand in front of him on a stage for a couple hours and go blow to blow. It ain't nobody out there that can do it. So Lil Wayne they were trying to put that together. Now, I don't know what happened, but I've heard, not through good sources yet neither, but I heard that it's not going to happen. So we'll keep our ear to the street and see when we can find out about that next verses coming up. Moving on to our next story. Y'all got to check this one out. A Missouri woman was turned down for a job because her name was too ghetto. Can you believe that? I'm not making this shit up. Miss Hermesia Robinson applied for a customer service position at a company called Mentality Health. And she found it on Indeed.com. So that's Mentality Health. And she claims that the company sent her an email stating that she would not be given an employment opportunity because her name, in fact, was too ghetto. You cannot make this shit up. They said her name was too ghetto. Hermesia. Even though being a fucked up name, I might add, it really don't sound that ghetto to me. It sounds more like a made-up name than ghetto. Hermesia. I definitely have never met a Hermesia. But shit, the job name sound more ghetto than her name. Mentality Health. That sounds more ghetto to me. It sounds like a fatality, but for a man, a mentality. Or like somebody maybe needs to be hooked on phonics or something, and they was trying to spell mentality and spelt it out as mentality. Mentality Health. Like I want to come to a clinic for my health care that they can't even spell mentality. Nah, I think I'll pass. How the fuck do you, a doctor with a doctorate, and you can't even spell mentality? I'm sure you're fucking up term papers, lost points for your spelling errors, and then where the fuck was your spell check at? Or maybe it was derived from mental health. This nigga is schizophrenic. Mentality Health. He can't even spell. Man, get the fuck out of here. I wish they would deny my application and then put some racist shit like that on it. Man, I'm fucking losing it. A mentally challenged racist. This dude couldn't even spell. He had trouble spelling KKK. His mother, must have also been his aunt, and his son is also his nephew or something like that, because that just sounds ridiculous to me. Mentality Health. I thought that one was kind of definitely a strange story. And next up, we're going to talk about, in our news, is a story that's going to take us across the seas all the way over to Egypt. Due to a heavy storm and vicious rains, dust storms, and even they had some snow. Yes, some fucking snow in Egypt. Like, man, the world is coming to an end when you can't tell one season from the next. It's snowing in Egypt. Like, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, in the southern city of Aswan, last week there were hordes and hordes of venomous scorpions. And they were driven out of their hiding places and into the streets and into the homes of local residents. So far, 3 people were found dead and hundreds were injured. 450 injured, to be exact. Local highways have been closed. Residents are being asked to stay in the house. Can you imagine that shit? We over here complaining about roaches, and here these Egyptian niggas is over here battling fucking scorpions and shit. And damn, every time you see a fucking roach from now on, imagine you're in Egypt and that roach is a fucking deadly ass scorpion. You know, for the first time, niggas is gonna be glad to see some roaches. You know, we gonna keep Egypt in our prayers, man. That's some hell of a shit to deal with. Deadly scorpions. Wow. All right, now our last story in the news for this week is there's supposed to be another deadly strain of COVID-19 that just touched down. And I'm not going to lie, man. I had been stopped following that COVID shit. I think this one is named after the Transformers and shit. I think it's called Megatron, Octagon, Armatron, something like that. And, you know, they probably about to lock us down again. You know, shit. I'm like so tired of this COVID shit, man. And I swear, I think it's the government doing this shit for population control. It's always been an agenda of the Illuminati and New World Order, you know, for those of you that follow and believe in that, that the earth is definitely overpopulated. You know, we're depleting our natural resources at alarming rates. I took a sociology class and an environmental conservation class in college last year. And it kind of enlightened me to a lot of new concepts, issues, you know, and different concerns that I had never really thought of. And I definitely don't trust our government, you know, but it's really that 1% that runs the world, for those that know who I'm talking about. You know, and I actually have an episode on my podcast coming up dealing specifically with that topic. But this whole COVID pandemic is just crazy. You know, it's changed the social structure that we're used to, you know, and it's created a huge void economically. You know, so it's just, we're living in new times right now, you know, and we've yet to establish what the new norm is. We've been wearing these masks. Who knows how long we're going to wear the mask? This new strain done hit. I talked to family in Maryland, and in Maryland, over 4,000 people was caught this virus over fucking night. Overnight, 4,000 people. So, yeah, we've got to deal with this new strain, and we'll keep everybody updated, you know, on that. And I'll have some more statistics, and just be safe. Remember, keep a distance from people, wash your hands, wear your mask. You know, we know the protocol by now, but let's just be safe, y'all. Now, our topic this week is about women and addiction. And 5.7% of the women in the United States have a substance use disorder, or called SUD. And 10.4% suffer from an alcohol use disorder. So according to the Recovery Research Institute, in 2015, over 50,000 women died from drug overdoses from prescription pain relievers. Women are more likely to have chronic pain. And it's unrelated to this study, but I believe that women are also more likely to have chronic emotional pain, you know, and suffer from depression more than men. So I'm going to have to look that up, you know, to verify it. But I do believe that that's a fact. You know, and back to the study, women are also more likely to be prescribed prescription pain medication and to be prescribed higher doses of the pain relievers. And women tend to use them for longer periods opposed to men. So women in addiction and recovery, they face unique barriers and distinctive issues opposed to men. This is a result both of sex differences, which is the biological differences, and the gender differences, which are the more societal or culturally constructed roles. Biologically, substance use disorder in women progresses at a faster rate than men. So right from the jump, the addiction progresses in women quicker than it does in men. So women are gonna use much more quickly. They're more quicker to build a tolerance, which means that they're going to increase in quantity and be using more, quicker than men would. And women are also statistically more susceptible to cravings and relapse. So wow, already, it don't look good for women right off the break. Women have cravings more than men, and the cravings come more frequently. So when they have these cravings, they relapse more than men. While using, they build up the tolerance quicker than men, causing them to use greater amounts. Wow, I never knew all of this, so our women are definitely affected deeper than men. And then women suffer from more trauma and depression than men, which is a major underlying cause for using, because, using addiction is less about the actual drugs being used and more about the underlying issues. The drugs is something that's used, that's not the problem. That's something that is a symptom. It's something that people use to try to cope with their real problems. And that's usually the pain or the trauma or the problem with acceptance or the problem with the inability to cope, with the tragedies of life. So you would think that there are more treatment facilities that would be just for women and more resources in place for women. But it's not, some of the physiological differences accelerate the progression of addiction. So as women metabolize alcohol and drugs differently from men. Fewer stomach enzymes and more fatty tissue slows down the processing of the alcohol and other drugs, which causes their body to be exposed to higher concentrations of the substance and for longer periods of time. So just from a physiological point of view, their bodies, metabolizes these drugs differently than men. So women is getting a real shitty end of the deal here when we're talking about addiction. Culturally, women often experience greater levels of stigma and stigmatization around the substance use as a result of their traditional societal roles as the gatekeepers, the mothers, the caregivers, and often they're the control or the organizing factor of the family unit. They're the ones holding the family together, running the family most of the time. So along with it being harder for women all the way around the board, we also stigmatize them more and then look at them more as a moral failure, while the male counterparts are let off the hook because men suffer from a disease named addiction, And once again, we got a double standard. When applied to women, our expectations for them are set higher than that of men. So our society is hard on women, man. So hard on women. Gender-specific sensitivities include the stigma, the shame, blame, and guilt that's attached to addiction can be stronger for females opposed to men, and especially for mothers. Stigma is a known barrier that keeps a lot of women from getting treatment. Substance use disorder in women was seen as a selfish moral failure that resulted in an intentional harm to the family and child. Isn't that fucked up? It's not fair, but when has society ever been fair to women? I'll wait. Right, never. It's always been double standards when it comes to women. If a man has sex with 5 different women in 1 week, he's the man. He's looked at honorably, and he'll wear that as a badge of honor. Trust and believe me. It'll be a status thing for the man. But if a woman has sex with 5 different guys in 1 week, oh, she's a hoe. You know what I mean? So here we go. Once again, if a woman has a substance use disorder, she's seen as having a moral failure, and she's seen as intentionally harming her family and neglecting her children. But men, let them straight off the hook. They suffer from a disease of the brain which doesn't allow them to think straight. So, how much of a double standard is that? We've come so far, but we ain't got nowhere, to be honest. The trauma, compared to men, a higher percentage of women have been the victims of physical, sexual, verbal abuse. And it's estimated that between 55% and 99% of women in treatment has had traumatic experiences. Sexually, statistically, 1 in every 5 women will be raped. For women seeking treatment, the number is as high as more than 7 in 10. 7 out of 10. Women are also more prone to co-occurring disorders, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, rather than men. Also, postpartum depression, is something to look at as well when women are pregnant. As far as motherhood, 70% of women entering into addiction treatment have children. And women entering into treatment are more likely to be the primary responsible person for their children. This is another barrier of women getting into treatment. They can't. They the ones holding down the family. They got the kids. They can't just up and check into a treatment facility, a recovery program as easy as men can. Women are more likely to experience difficulties, in attending regular treatment sessions because of that. They got family responsibilities. And childcare being one of the biggest, barriers. And you would think that they would make or take that in consideration and figure some way that we can have some type of childcare to allow these women to get some treatment. Women also fear the legal action and social services getting involved, so they're scared to say that they're addicted to drugs or have relapsed or going through, because they don't want the city to come in and take their kids, or the state rather to come in and take their children. But these are just some of the differences in between women and men with addiction, and it's definitely a landslide of a difference between that.